For the Western world's fashion conscious, times have never been so good. New styles make it to the high street in the blink of an eye, and cheap labour in the developing world has brought prices tumbling. As costs have fallen though, retailers have been forced to confront the ethics of manufacturing.
Ever since the consumer boycott hit one of the world's most recognisable brands in the 1990s, retailers like Gap, h&amp and Primark have all been accused of using sweatshop labour. But the good news is they've all smartened up their acts.
Those inside the industry say practices are very different to how they used to be.
They do all they possibly can to audit the factories that supply the goods that they sell in their stores in this country, and of course that means sending out people to look as often as is practical. Obviously that's not foolproof. You can't have an inspector in every factory every day of the year, but they really do try to achieve the best possible standards in those factories.
But recent disasters are a reminder that the global fashion industry still has victims.
We have had a factory collapse in Bangladesh last month or the month before, 250 dead. We've just had a huge fire in Dhaka, over 100 people dead. Why is that acceptable, that that is still happening? Just because it's not under our noses in our old garment districts, just because it's thousands of miles away, why on earth is that acceptable?
It's still happening, Lucy Siegel argues, because the big chains demand rapid turnaround at the lowest possible price. She says ethical fashion means retailers recognising the flaws of the system they've created. Shoppers, despite the collective power they sometimes wield, often don't give too much consideration to how their clothes are made.
I probably think about it, but whether I actually act upon it is quite another thing. It's something that I have considered. I don't like buying clothes from large supermarkets, but high street, I tend to see it and buy it.
I just pick things I think I like that suits me. When I check them and it's fine, I just pay for it.
As long as consumers buy cheap fashion, retailers will provide it for them. The monetary cost of the clothes is low. The human cost, however, is sometimes still far too high. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera, London.